Back here at home, La Vista Police Chief Bob Larsen is fighting a subpoena to testify in the Ryan Larsen case. Larsen's family filed a petition to declare the boy dead and get a death certificate in their hands. Ryan Larsen has autism. He was 11 years old when he went missing in May of 2021. He was last spotted outside of his apartment complex after leaving school that day. Beyond that, what happened to him remains a mystery. Last Friday, Chief Larsen filed a motion in Sarpy County Court to quash the subpoena, saying that the search for Ryan is ongoing to this day and that certain information about the case must remain confidential. An affidavit from Ryan's mother, notarized on December 5th, states that a La Vista police detective told Tammy Larsen that any progress in the case that would point at that point would be, quote, recovery efforts. We're going to continue to follow this story and give you the very latest right here on 6 News. Now.